The United States of America is one of the largest countries in the entire world. There is one man who decided to cycle it from the west coast to the east coast, taking part in the most difficult ultra cycling race in history, Race Across America. Krzysztof Fechner is an ultra cyclist from Zielona Góra in Poland. He has incredible racing history behind him. In his private life, he is a husband and father, an ordinary man who working every day as a bus driver. One thing that distinguishes him among ordinary people is his love for the bicycle and the desire to cover kilometers on it. A man with passion, enthusiasm, strength and the willingness to strive to achieve the goal. One win gives him the desire for more and more. We started our adventure in Los Angeles in California, which was supposed to turn out to be sunny, but it wasn't like that at all these days. The organizers said that due to good weather conditions, it would be a year in which race records would be broken. We had to acclimatize on the new continent, so the cyclists did training and we visited a bit of LA. The time difference between Poland and Los Angeles is 9 hours. That's a lot. Being there, I felt like I was playing a GTA 5. Everything was the same, only the distances were slightly different. Some of the more interesting places we visited is Venice Beach, Beverly Hills or even the Hollywood sign. Beautiful landscapes, wide streets, large cars, kind people, tall palm trees and interesting vegetation is something that particularly caught my attention. Since we're already talking about beautiful things, let's move on to the less beautiful ones. We lived in a less safe neighborhood. From what I noticed, there are a lot of homeless people. You can see it especially when you pass by the bridges. It was also dangerous. There are places that are better not to enter, just like everywhere. During our stay, one night we heard shots near our hotel. The next day the police were standing there and looking for the clues. By the way, look at this shot. It is so atmospheric. Leave the thumbs up and subscribe for more like this. Let's skip the topic of Los Angeles and let's focus on the Race Across America. Preparations are in full swing. Apart from the cyclist training, the team also had to prepare somehow. We had to cover all of our cars because of sponsor stickers, starting numbers and so on and so forth. It was quite time consuming, and to make matters worse, during the transport of the bikes, something bad happened to them, especially with one of them, because we had a problem with the derailleur hanger. It just broke, and so we had to get a new one. I called a welder located in San Diego and we had to go there. The district was very scary, but we got a welded hook. At least we are a little calmer. That it would be enough for us for some time. There was a bad atmosphere from the beginning. Apart from us, from Poland, Marek Rupiński, an ultra cyclist from Szczecin, also started. By the way, he finished in first place. It was time for the next day. Start of the race, first emotions and many climbs. Because California is quite mountainous. It's a pity I couldn't record the start. We also started entering the desert. At the beginning, cyclists had to overcome a section without the support. We met only later at night. Rest for a maximum of 2 hours. So let's move on to the next day when the temperatures were getting more and more murderous. We enter Arizona, approaching the Navajo Indian Reservation, where we received warnings to be especially careful at night because of drunk drivers, wild animals wandering on the streets and so on and so forth. This reservation covers 71,000 square kilometers. It's a really huge area. It is very difficult to convey the beauty of this place with all the recordings or pictures. By the way, look at the clouds. They have a delicate color just like sand. Light orange turning into red. From the more popular tourist places, we passed a monument valley. It is very hard for me to think how monotonous the road must have felt while driving around with the bike. On the road, we were practically going straight all the time. Further along the way we passed a bit of Utah and we started our adventure in Colorado, where the cyclist faced extreme struggles uphill. It is time to start the climbs, and one of the biggest was waiting for cyclists outside the town of Pagosa Springs. It was called Wolf's Creek Pass. We were at such an altitude that it was difficult to turn on the gas stove in the RV. By the way, Arizona, Utah and Colorado are among my favorite states. The cyclist on the driveway was very tired. The first creases appeared. The driveway was really very demanding. And by the way, we met a lot of nice people along the road. Like for example, those who also took part in the race across America. And we met them all the time on the road.
Dawaj, dawaj! Dawaj! Woo! Dajesz!
Jesteś najlepszy!
So, after the uphill, it was the time to downhill ride. The temperature was really cold during that. It also started raining. The cyclist in front did not experience this. Colorado is said to be at the top of the country. There is a reason why it is home to 60 of the 50 highest mountains of the continent. The highest peak in the state, Mount Albert, is 4,399 meters above the sea level. In Colorado is the highest town in the US. It's time to move towards Kansas, but after the downhill ride we still stayed in Colorado. We were greeted by beautiful picturesque plains. The further we went, the more interesting it was. Very far in the background we could saw a high mountain, and in the fields there were a lot of animals. For the cyclist it was probably another monotonous place, because we kept going straight. And so the hours pass. We are almost halfway through the route. The further, the more beautiful. Sunset in this place was something wonderful. Just look. We are entering Kansas. Pay attention to the clouds. The cyclists in front of us are struggling with powerful wind, hail, rain and storm. And it didn't affect us at all. The kilometers are increasing. Our cyclist experiencing more and more creases. But he's fighting bravely. And here is one of my favorite photos. A very extensive road with high mountains and the black clouds in the background. The state of Kansas is a vast prairie. It is very flat. Sometimes you could see a tree or bush in the distance, but then we started to see more farmland. And this is what Kansas is famous for: agriculture, especially for growing wheat, sunflowers or corn. This is the second record state with the tornadoes occur. What you see in the picture now is called runners. It's a very popular plant for this biome. They move for hundreds of kilometers. You may associate them from movies as rolling balls, and they are a huge problem for Americans because they spread a huge amount of seeds, so there can be quite a lot of them. They accumulate on people's properties and they have to clean it up. After the rain with hail and undue moment of cooling, the cyclists struggling with another heat wave. Atmospheric conditions can change here at an express pace. Characteristic of Kansas are also these tall silos, which now you can see. At the end of our first day in this state, we were greeted by a beautiful sky. And after the night, another day of struggling in hellish heat, we met more amazing people on our way.
All right. Hey, my name's Ben Gray. I was just riding across the country. I'm coming from Atlanta,
and I've read about the bike race across the United States, so I saw the van, I saw the bike coming, so I wanted to stop and get some pictures. Keep riding.
Okay, so now we have talked a little about Kansas. It's time to go to Missouri, one of the most beautiful states we have driven through. Characteristic white fences, a lot of forests, animals, fireflies, various birds and very nice winding roads. That were a challenge for the cyclist. Well, 3.5 thousand kilometers on the odometer. Picturesque roads that I mentioned before are also stretched through Illinois and Indiana. It was very nice that another team came to us to cheer after they were eliminated. Something like this centrally added a lot of energy to our cyclist. On the same day, few hours later at night, it rained. We entered Pennsylvania, and at the same time we entered the Appalachian Mountains, which turned out to be a total killer for our cyclist. They are the oldest mountains in the North America. They are located in two countries, the USA and Canada. They stretch for a length of 3,300 kilometers. Pennsylvania is called the land of ridges and valleys. With every uphill slope, there was a downhill slope, and over again. It was definitely one of the most difficult moments of the race. After Pennsylvania, it was time for the long-awaited finish.
Woo! Dawaj!
And this is how our race ended. It was 4,887 kilometers long. We did it in 11 days, 8 hours and 58 minutes. We would like to thank all the sponsors who contributed to make one of Krzysiek's biggest dreams come true. If not you, there would be no race. We would also like to thank everyone who supported us for all of the road. The race across America route was truly a killer. The cyclist struggled with extreme conditions. Only few are able to reach a finish line, so great respect for him. I invite you to leave a thumbs up and subscribe, so that no other episode will miss you. By the way, let me know in the comment if you want more episodes in English. I tried very hard. And that's it. I'm saying goodbye to you. See you on the screens.